2024 has come to an end, and everybody within the built environment of Indian real estate has one common question: how will the new year shape out for the business of Indian real estate? Well, the outlook of the Indian real estate on the eve of 2024 could confuse any neutral analyst. And why I use the term neutral analyst? Most of the analysts in the business of real estate are actually industry insiders. They are stakeholder cum experts. So if you ask them, they will tell you the new year is going to be full of hopes and promises. They are so upbeat that all the industry reports are projecting a bullish upcycle to continue for the next few years. They are even saying that this will take the Indian real estate to a valuation of 10 trillion US dollar by 2047. A closer look at the ground realities for a common man who is looking for a house in his affordable budget stands in contrast. I am Ravi Sinha, and for me, how would the new year 2025 shape out stands as a question that has many answers and quite diverse ones. The outlook depends upon who is the one that has to answer the critical question. For the average home buyers looking for a roof over the head in the job magnet cities, the mismatch between average wages and house price index is getting wider. But for the luxury buyers with deep pockets, this appears to be the best asset class to park money as of now. A closer look at the ground realities clearly suggests that the statistics of higher sales and luxury demand conceals more than what it reveals. Across the global property markets, a thorough study of boom and bust cycle clearly indicates that excessive supply and absorption of luxury housing is more often than not followed by a long patch of slowdown and degrowth. After all, such a selective boom is not in sync with the vast majority of the buyers in any given market. On the eve of 2025, there are certain critical questions that would define how would the real estate market pan out. Question number 1. Can K-shaped market sustain the growth trajectory for long? We all know that K-shaped housing market where luxury is growing and affordable housing is shrinking is an accepted reality across the major cities of India. Can such an imbalanced market sustain in the long run? It's true that on a macroeconomic level, wealth is also moving up the value chain, rich are getting richer and poor is losing out of the housing market. But then, there is no empirical evidence across the world to suggest that an asset class like property has maintained its growth trajectory in the luxury segment for long, and that too at the cost of affordable housing. Affordability is a critical question for the vast majority of Indians. The supply in this segment is way beyond the average or median wages of vast majority of the Indians. The average and median salaries across the major cities of India indicates the financial benchmarking of affordability, that is 4 years of your gross that is 5 years of your gross income, with second simultaneous condition that EMI should not be more than 40% of take home salary. This benchmark is heavily loaded against buying a house today. Question number 2. Will houses continue to be launched on perceived demand? Well, in a housing deficient country like India, unsold inventory tells a different story, and the reason is houses being launched on perceived demand, either driven by developers' gut feeling or peer pressure. But after the developers burning their hands with unsold inventory, will the market show some maturity in the year ahead? Will the market let the buyers define the demand? Will the business get back to basics of demand assessment through scientific methodology of survey and research? Demand and supply mismatch in the market is also critically linked to the affordability index of majority of home seekers across the cities of India. Question number 3. Will real estate continue to give double-digit returns? Investments in luxury real estate has in recent times given double-digit returns, and that is what is fueling the luxury housing demand. This is the reason that rich and affluent class continue to park money into this asset class. A perception has hence gained ground that real estate offers the best ROI. Will this trend continue in 2025? Or prices have reached to its peak point now? With more luxury supply than what the market can absorb, the year ahead could well be the plateau point of luxury housing in India. The investors might get exposed to the law of diminishing returns thereafter. Question number 4. Will reverse migration and affordability shift focus to tier 2 and 3 cities? The top 10 cities of India are not only job magnet cities, but are also the hotbeds of property landscape. But these cities are no longer affordable for average working class. Add to it, the reality of work from home has made tier 2 and 3 cities a bit more attractive for investments. Will 2025 be the defining moment for many of these small towns, where infrastructure development is also catching on? In all likelihood, these future cities also hold better appreciation potential than the saturated tier 1 cities. In terms of affordability too, these cities could attract more buyers compared to tier 1 cities. Question number 5. Will large and listed developers seize the lion's share of market? As of now, roughly 1/3 of real estate market is served by the large and listed developers. These developers are not only at an all-time high sales number, but their stock performance is also skyrocketing. It clearly indicates that they have the bandwidth to grow. They have the bandwidth to grow further. Some of them are already scouting for land parcels in tier 2 and 3 cities. Whether 2025 will be witness to large and listed developers getting penetration into new geographies, that's a question that would define the future of Indian real estate, not just the year ahead. Even more important is the question as to whether a handful of large and listed developers can serve the housing demand across the country. Question number 6. Will alternative asset class attract the new age buyers? A lot has been said about the emergence of alternative asset class, and the regulatory framework has also evolved around products like fractional ownership and small and medium REITs. Will it define the market ahead? Will it evoke confidence of average investors? Will alternative asset class just be a fantasy of urban young investors only? Will these alternative asset class give the kind of returns as promised on paper? Will alternative asset class offer better ROI than the traditional properties? These are the kind of questions that would define the broader real estate market in 2025. But these are also the questions that would define the future of real estate, not just in the year ahead, but in the long run. These are the questions that need to be looked into. Unfortunately, the stakeholders and more importantly the analysts who are not neutral analysts, they are doing influence peddling in a very different direction. Thanks for watching.